What up though? I'm Bree and this is Baked After Dark. Tonight's recipe is near and dear to my heart, and this episode is dedicated to the person that inspired it. Sergeant First Class Stephen D. Fluharty. Sergeant Fluharty was a white man from West Virginia. He grew up in a rural area and he worked in the inner city. So you can imagine first impressions. But beneath his tough exterior, because Lord knows it was tough, I mean, he had the scowl of a junkyard bulldog, like, if we're really being honest. But he was one of the sweetest people I've ever known. ROTC taught me so much. How to be organized, how to work on a team, how to manage a team. If you ever worked with me in any professional setting, whether you were a colleague or an employee, I promise you, Sergeant Fluharty had an influence on you too. And I swear, of all the chocolate chip cookies I've ever had, Sergeant Fluharty's were hands down the best. Let's go ahead and try to recreate them. So last week on the Baked After Dark podcast, which is now streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I introduced you guys to my private sessions, and the first recipe that we went over was a chewy chocolate chip cookie recipe. Notice I put chewy in the description because I wanted to differentiate just so that I could do this recipe and I could show you all the difference between the two. And when we're done here, you'll have two recipes to choose from, and both of them are a knockout. So for the chewy chocolate chip cookie recipe, we actually started off with melted butter. For our cakey chocolate chip cookies, we're actually going to start off with softened butter. See how the sticks are intact, they're not like overly melted. This is what we want, room temperature. To that, we're going to add 1 cup of white granulated, about 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 cup of light brown, tightly packed sugar. In this scenario, we are actually going to cream this butter and sugar together for about 6 minutes until it's light and fluffy. We're going to use our stand mixer with the paddle attachment. If you have a hand mixer, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and start creaming the butter and sugar until it's light and fluffy. Listen, if you can't do it for a full 5 minutes, it's fine. They're cookies, they're not cake, they'll be just fine. I always like to get my mixer started slow and then bring the speed up. To this, we're going to add 2 eggs, room temperature. I remember the very first time I tasted these cookies, we were doing a fundraiser. We was doing a lot of different fundraiser stuff because JROTC is a very active organization. Like, they kept us, at least my battalion, we stayed doing stuff. Shout out to Northwestern Tiger Battalion, okay? State champions, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, but 2006. Yes, that was the year I was the battalion commander, and we won first place in color guard, squad, and I believe platoon drill, but I don't remember because that was like 20 years ago. Bitch, that really was 20 years ago. Oh my God. That was 20 years ago. I done lost my train of thought, realizing how fucking old I am. So I don't remember what we were fundraising for, but I do remember that when I tasted this cookie and I bit into it, I was like, your wife made these? And he was like, nah, I made them. Like, to know Sergeant Fluharty is to know that's literally how you talk. What? No, I made them. Sergeant Fluharty smiled. I am smiling. Like, oh man. But I was like, your wife made these? And he was like, no, I made them. I was like, how did you get them so cakey? And that's when he told me his trick of the trade, and I never forgot it. And that was to add a couple tablespoons more of flour than you would to your regular chocolate chip cookie recipe. Now, you don't have to add no extra flour to my recipe. I've already done it for you. Let's keep going. So to our butter and sugar and egg mixture, we're gonna add a tablespoon of vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract, no imitation, please. And then once that's well incorporated, we're gonna slowly add our dry ingredients. This is 3 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm adding a teaspoon of fine sea salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. And you already know it's because we're doing chocolate chip cookies. It's not gonna taste like coffee, but that chocolate gonna be hitting. I'm gonna add all of this to our flour. And then I am gonna get our mixture started and slowly add the flour. Look how quick this recipe came up. Like, this was a boop. I like to add about half at a time. Let it get well incorporated, and then I'll add the other half. Once your flour is well incorporated, now it's time to add our chocolate chips. We're still doing 2 cups. Now, if you buy a standard bag of chocolate chips, it's only 12 ounces. That is 1.5 cups. You need 2 bags. If you only have 1, that's fine. You're just gonna have to use the whole bag, and your chocolate chip cookies might be lacking a little bit of chocolate chip goodness, but I tried to tell you. I'm gonna turn my mixer all the way down to the slowest setting so that I can add these well incorporated. Y'all, that is it. That's cookie dough. Sergeant Fluardi was, oh shit, so impactful to my life. He was literally my dad away from home. I spent, so much time at school. When I got accepted to the University of Toledo, and my parents couldn't take me for my placement exams because they had to work, he took me. He drove me from Midtown Detroit to Toledo and back. And my parents trusted him to do that. And if you know anything about my parents, especially my daddy, they don't play about me. And they don't trust a lot of people to care for me. But First Sergeant Tolliver, Sergeant Fluardi, and Sergeant Relinde, they trusted with my life. And they knew I was absolutely in good hands. It didn't matter if he had to drive me to a placement exam or tell me that the boyfriend that I chose was not good enough for me. Or get on my ass about, I don't know, anything under the sun. He was truly my dad away from home, and he made such an impact on my life. Shit. Fuck it. I've been crying all night trying to get through this episode, so I just gotta finish. I'm just scooping these out. This is a 1 tablespoon cookie scoop, and I'm doing just a dozen at a time, spacing them out very well. And I've preheated my oven to 350. We always want to start with a preheated oven. And these are our chocolate chip cookies, all formed into 1 tablespoon balls. Giggity. And we're gonna pop them into the oven for 8 to 10 minutes, or until they are golden brown. Welcome back. Our cookies are out of the oven. Look how gorgeous they are. You see it? Cakey. Goodness. These cookies are soft, cakey, and delicious. They don't taste exactly like Sergeant Fluardi's, but I think they're a cookie that he would be proud of. And I want to thank Sergeant Fluardi for his love, his time, and his intolerance to my teenage bullshit. You helped mold me from a bratty, snot-nosed teenager into a goal-driven woman of distinction, and I'd like to think a powerhouse that I am today. I truly wouldn't be who I am without the influence of you. Thank you. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And hit the little bell so you get notified when I drop new content. And make sure you head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and listen to Baked After Dark, the podcast component. It's a completely different episode where we talk about baking questions, life drama, and whatever else y'all throw in that goddamn inbox. If you got shit to throw in the inbox, go to bakewithbree.com/askbree and you can throw anything that you want in there. You can even do it anonymously. I don't give a fuck. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Official Baked After Dark. And I'll be back next week with another recipe and maybe even a new apron. Who knows? Until next time, y'all stay sweet.